Mudflood Club.
Welcome. Tonight we have Ancient Historia. We've got Luke sitting in with us. How you doing, Luke?
I'm good. I'm here for the love chat that you invited me for.
I hope everybody's doing all right tonight. I got my piece of organite in the other day. I don't know if y'all can see that too good. Some new tool. I love me some organite. So how you doing, Mr. Luke?
I'm good, thank you. Pretty tired. It's probably 1 a.m. by now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep it. We won't keep you too long. I just wanted to meet and greet you. We've been chatting behind the scenes and cutting up and causing havoc, and so I just wanted to meet you face to face and see who I'm dealing with.
Well, it's great to meet you, mate. Finally.
Let's see. We got question and answers. TW, Sherry Ives, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Lisa Ann Brindley. How y'all doing? So you were asking about Vanilla Skies.
Oh yeah, I hear you're the guy to talk to.
Well, Douglas of UAP is actually the person who coined the term Vanilla Skies.
You'd have to be humble.
So he is definitely the one that noticed that phenomena. Now I had learned, I knew about it through doing the research, but I did not know until recently he's the one that coined that. So that was cool to learn. But through my research, I learned how they did the Vanilla Skies, and it has to do with the glass plate negatives. And of course, you know, some other folks out there tried to, you know, say that it was done with a chemical process, but we found that to be wanting. But
yeah, so I'm interested in this because I did a video before I was known. Oh, we've got a guest.
Hey, Bernie.
Oh, hello, hello.
Glad to see you.
How's it going? We were just chit-chatting about Vanilla Skies.
But yeah, as I was going to say, when
I'll be right back. I'm listening though.
Okay.
Yeah, I did Vienna World's Fair, and I remember seeing a lot of editing in that they'd cut out some of the flagpoles. Like they were literally missing halfway, and I pointed it out, and obviously people are going, "Oh, this is just old images." You know, they've got slow shutter speed and all this, and you know, this flagpole's literally cut in half, and I'm like, okay,
wow.
So yeah, I'll have to show you that. In fact, see what you think.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't know if I have those or not. I just found when I was doing some research yesterday, I was reading this the video I put out yesterday. There was a little picture of and it was a card from World's Fair exhibition, and I started looking at it closely. And I'm like, wait a minute, I've never even heard of that when it was in Atlanta, Georgia. So I started looking it up. I'd never heard of this World's Fair.
Yeah, it's crazy how many there are. Like I started originally, I was planning to do like the whole series, but then I got into Tartaria, then Star Force, and I haven't made one since. So I will get back to that. But yeah, there is. go to Wikipedia, they'll give you the list of World's Fairs. But then if you go to like behind the scenes, you'll find the list of the list, which includes all the kind of the mini World's Fairs. So they had loads of isolated ones, which
yes.
So they just do like an isolated industrial engineering fair, and that doesn't get listed under the World's Fairs, but it's still just as incredible.
I really don't know how many of them there were. There was one in my hometown in Raleigh, North Carolina that I'd never heard of. And so that's part of something I'm researching. It's really crazy. What are you up to, Gordon?
The Crystal Palace was one that was in London. It's one of the most famous ones, 1851. And I remember somebody sent me on Reddit a picture of, I'm not kidding, carbon copy of this thing. And it was somewhere in the US. I can't remember exactly where it was. But exactly the same Crystal Palace in the US, built around
glass structure.
It was exactly the same shape and everything.
I think I've seen that before and thought about, I wonder if that's similar to it. I don't know if I don't remember it being the same, but maybe it is.
I can't remember where it was. I've been going through a lot of books recently, and I remember going through, I think it was like an Egyptian book or something. And I remember finding a stone structure that looks exactly like those glass crystal palaces, but it's stone, it doesn't have glass. And I was thinking, ooh, I wonder if that's the original.
That's weird. Glass was very hard to make back then. It was actually considered a secret art. It was kept very, very secret how they actually made glass. And so to have a glass palace back then is very interesting, because to make that much glass and it be a secret process would be very difficult, I think. But
yeah, I'll have to find it and send it to you.
That's the one that they just took down and moved, right?
Right. Well, this is the thing. They say they took it down and moved. Yeah, but if you watch my video, I'll go through and show you how it's a completely different building. Like, they've got towers and everything on this one. The shape's different, and it's like
they said that they rearranged it.
Well, no, but that's the point.
Officially.
If I take my house down and say I'm moving my house, and then I get to the place that I'm moving it to, and I go, you know what? I don't actually like the old shape, so I'm going to
rearrange it.
Yeah, I'm just going to rearrange it a bit. Go, oh, well, I've run out of material, so I'll just get some new material, put all these pieces in, and go, oh, there we go, I moved my house. No, you didn't. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
The thing is that the second one as well, which is something that I love joking about, is because the first one survives, it doesn't get destroyed by a fire or something. Most of these things get destroyed by some event. A cook accidentally burnt some chicken, and then it caused a huge fire and destroyed the town.
Tipping over the lantern.
Exactly. So I was like, oh, this one, it survived. They moved it. But then you go to the new one. Guess what? It burned down in the 1930s. And you're like, oh, for God's sake. And I'm not kidding. The story literally is that there was a fire inside, and the guy that built it or loves it or something to do with it, he absolutely loved it. He went in and found these two workers that are just idiots, just trying to fight the fire with water, throwing it on, being idiots. And, and it's like, stop it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like,
that's nuts.
The funniest bit is as well that Winston Churchill, he came all the way to watch the fire burn. Apparently, it was like a big event where everyone from London was like, "Oh, let's go watch the palace burn."
Jeez. Well, the Great Fire of London is a lot like the fire in what was it, Rome, where what they did was they wanted to rebuild the city, and they burned out certain areas, and that's why you had the Great Fire of London.
This is what it is because all the peasants would build with wood, right, on top of all the stone structures. So if you wanted to clear out the area, you literally could just throw in a matchstick and watch it all burn down. But that's the thing, you don't melt stone with simple fires. It needs to be something quite impressive to start even melting stone, because a few thousand degrees to melt stone and to do that kind of damage, it's something that's ridiculous when you see the kind of destruction that's caused by fires. Like I'm sure you've seen the San Francisco fire.
Well, Oh, I was just thinking about that. But then if you look at these great fires and look at the images of them, they all look the same.
Exactly.
Bricks everywhere, stones everywhere. Now, I've never seen a fire that takes down a complete brick building.
Well, this is if you take pictures of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, put
Same
them
thing.
in San Francisco, you won't be able to tell which one's which. And
No.
even same for Dresden, which firebombed in World War II. Take pictures of that. That looks exactly the same.
I have a film that on my channel where it shows in World War I in France where they were going in and tearing down buildings that had been bombed and then crushing up the rock and turning the rock into roads.
Really? Wow.
It's all on film.
Well, you know what? Interestingly, there's a film that's on Netflix. It was a German film called All Quiet on the Western Front. You might have heard about
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Heard of it.
Yeah, towards the end of that, it plays a lot on the fact that even though the Germans were saying, all right, we can't win this war, the French were going, no, we're not signing the peace agreement, and kept marching forward, kept destroying, kept killing. And they were begging, saying people are dying on the front lines on both sides. People are needlessly dying. We want the end of the war. And the French were just sat there like, nope, not doing it. And looking back on it, you're like, oh, that's because it's about destruction. It's about creating, well, A, refugees, and B, destroying history. Because I was talking to David Ewing Jr. about this, and we're talking about how refugees are always being created in the world to be moved. Like, look at Germany. They take on so many refugees from Syria, the crisis that happened in Syria, and they get to put them to work, get to throw them to work. And it's just moving slavery around, basically, via war. Bomb a country, taking all the Ukrainians, put them to work,
I think the whole World War I and World War II, even going back into the Civil War. I mean, a lot of these wars were just campaigns to destroy.
Oh yeah. I feel exactly the same. Well,
I mean, in the South here, we have the stories of Sherman burning cities. That's like part of our history, and I think that's not that there wasn't a civil war here, that they actually were just going around burning cities and tearing them down.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm still tied on this because my research hasn't yet taken me into America. I have got hold of a book which is very good. It's called Muscovite or Russia in California. Muscovite in California, basically, and it's about the Russians that were living and had cities in California, just as the maps show. Now, people will say, "Wait, the Russians weren't there." It's like, well, didn't you buy Alaska off Russia? So the Russians must have been somewhere there, for them to have Alaska. What did they do? Did they get into Alaska and go, all right, lads, no fucking further? You know what I mean? You know the rules, no fucking further. No, they got into Alaska and then they went, right, this is a bit chilly. Let's go see if we can find anything a bit warmer. And they did. They did find something, and they made some cities there. And that's the confusing thing, because they like to say old maps. They go, oh, these are all Spanish cities. These are all Spanish cities. Spanish, they've landed on the East Coast and they have all sprinted across quick as they can and made a load of cities. But if you add in Russia, and Russia going over a lot earlier, suddenly starts to make sense. So was the Civil War a civil war, or was it clearing out the Russians and stuff that were living there?
Right.
Not just the Russians. You got loads of different ethnicities. You got the Native Americans, which obviously have the links to the Tartaria. Anyway,
our whole history is just all whacked out. I mean, I'm studying the migration of the Moors and the people from Africa that came up from South America prior to us coming here.
Right.
And so there's a history of that, and I believe that the Moors were in America. And I've also believed in looking at Dane Calloway's research. I think that the black folk were already here, and the slaves were not slaves originally; that they were indentured servants, basically prisoners of war, and they gave them an option to be a indentured servant and work their freedom. And so when they worked their contract, they became freedmen. And so instead of being slaves, they were actually indentured servants that worked a contract, became freed men, but then they had to cover up what they did. And so they came up with the slave trade, but I don't think there was an actual slave trade.
That's what. Yeah, I agree with that as well. So, in your studies, have you come across like King Abu Bakari, who was, I think, he was a Mali king.
Yes.
He was supposed
Where
to
he
go.
took the 3,000, 2 or 3,000 people across the sea.
Yeah, like 800 took them all across, and he literally abdicated the throne. He was one of the richest kings, and he was just like, "Fuck it."
Now, I will say that history is, they're not real clear about who actually this king was. They're not positive that's his name or that was the guy, but they know around that time something happened like this, because there's the stories of it. But if you look at I'm trying to remember, there's stories of black giants in South America, and then they found gold tipped spears in South America that were given to the natives when they came, and they tested that gold, and the gold traced back to Africa.
Yeah, I've heard this. Yeah, the Spanish took them back, and they tested. And they said these are exactly the same spears we've been trading with the people of medieval Mali, and they're like in it. But there is so much evidence. If you look at Ramesses II, right, is the person who invented the hair test, the drug test, to test if you've been taking drugs. Well, she did a test on Ramesses II mummy and found cocaine in his stomach. And the thing is, they did more tests on more mummies and Sudanese mummies and stuff like that. Guess what? Cocaine in all of them. So clearly, the Egyptians were having some kind of South Atlantic trade.
Where was it the cocoa plant? Coca plant? Is that what it's from? South America,
Colombia, Peru, I think, that kind of area.
You were talking about the Tartarian language, I believe, in one of your videos.
Yeah.
And I think it was in a short, and you were talking about how it's has the longest alphabet. Is that what you said?
Right. No. Yeah. So the current Tartar language, which is the one you will find in Tatarstan, Russia, which is like the last remnants of Tartary, they have their own language that has a very similar amount of letters to English. I don't know how many exactly, but there is a document from an old encyclopedia that I can't quote right now, but you can find it on stolenhistory.org, and it says that the Tartarian language has 202 letters, which is the same as Ethiopian. So that was some kind of older Tartarian that must have had 202, which I do find it interesting that it matches the amount of Ethiopian, because it does make you wonder whether they were similar, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's interesting.
What
I thought about when when I heard you talk about that, it made me think about the Aztec language and how they have words that are like 200 something letters long.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I thought that was an interesting correlation.
I'll tell you, there is a correlation that I haven't actually realized until now, but that 202 connection could be because if you've ever heard of Prester John, so in Tartarian history, Prester John's quite important. On a lot of old maps, you'll find his name next to Tenduk, and it'll say that he founded the city of Tenduk. But he's considered mythological, but he's not. He's real, but he is king from Africa. They call him Prester John of Africa, and he's king of Ethiopia and stuff. So Prester John, he's supposed to have founded Christianity in Tenduk, which is obviously just north of China-ish, around there. So he's supposed to have founded Christianity in 1290, not founded Christianity, but taken Christianity to Tenduk in 1290, right? And he's supposedly of Africa, Ethiopia. Now, Tartarian language was supposed to have exactly the same amount of letters as Ethiopian, and there's an Ethiopian guy in Tenduk. Just saying.
Oh, interesting. Linguistics is not one of my strong suits, I would say. So I find that stuff interesting. And I think that there's a case to be made that English was the spoken language here in America, in the old world. But what I'm basing that on is that it seems like some of the etchings in the buildings are old world to me. That they're not new etchings.
Right.
So that's one of the things that leads me to think that.
Well, one interesting link between Tartarian, which you might not have noticed, is so you've heard of barbarians, right?
Okay.
Right. So barbarians, where they come from, they are Vandals and Goths, Visigoths. That in about 300, 400 AD, they had a battle with King Arthur and some Romans in Gaul, which was France. They lost. They got ejected down into Spain, which is how Spain became Islamic a few hundred years later. So that's where they came from. But they also jumped over the Pillars of Hercules into North Africa, which had previously apparently been controlled by the Roman Empire, and they took over that entire that coast and settled their capital at Carthage. Right. So at that point, that land starts become known as barbarian. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. So you know that Islam's now in Spain because of these guys, and now the North of Africa is becoming Islamic because of these guys who are coming from the north, not coming from where you think from the Middle East with Islam. They're coming from the north because they're coming from Germany and Russia and stuff like that, right? So they've come down from there, and that's Barbaria. Now, with language, you've got Tartaria, which is Tartar, but there's one R added. It's Tataria, really. It's Tatar. So it's actually Tatarian.
Tatarian.
Right? So do the same with barbarian. You take the first R away. Barbarian or Babarian. It's father in Arabic. Father. So father area. Now, what else do you have over in Russia? You've got the Kingdom of Bulgars who got moved. They got kicked out. Now they live in Bulgaria, the Bulgarians. You've also got Hungarians. Now, World War II, what do you have? You have the Aryan race. And they're all coming from that area.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And they've got the Islamic thing is present because of Islamic Spain, Islamic North Africa. So basically,
how did you like what okay, how did you get woken up here? What's your in a nutshell, this woke my tail up from my sleeping stupor?
Oh,
get here.
my awakening stuff. I don't know. I've always been kind of like pretty woke. Like when I was 15, 16, I started watching like a lot of David Irving videos, and he's kind of a bit of a Holocaust denier, but he basically explained how World War II didn't happen the way that we thought it did. That pushed me down a bit of a rabbit hole at that point, and I got into it. But I got quite a bit of a negative reception from friends and family, as you can imagine. And I kind of put it away for a bit. Just, I was always interested in it, but I just I unwoked myself, just to fit for a bit. And
you hit the alarm. You hit the snooze.
Yeah, for real. And I feel it was nice, really. If kind of power, he was like, all right, give him some human years, and then we'll wake him up again in a bit. But then that happened. Like, so last year my dad died, and that was really fun. And and I got really bad like drinking and stuff, and then I don't know, just a lot of weird stuff started happening, and I got guided to a certain hallucinogenic drug that helped in my way.
LSD helped me. That really helped me.
Yeah, well, DMT was literally because I've done like LSD before and I've done shrooms before, but like DMT was like, I don't know how to describe it. Like it broke me, but in a good way. Like in a good way. I came back a different person, and then
LSD was big when I was in the 90s when I was, interested in that stuff, and DMT was it was hard to get that sort of thing. So
it's hard to get. I had to make it myself.
Well, I'm sure I would have done it back then, but it's definitely better, yeah. But I did a lot of LSD too, so.
Look, I got some of my lab stuff here.
I think that those things are, some of us don't need it, but I needed it. I needed to expand my mind. So that really helped. But then, I haven't done drugs in a long time, but it definitely helped me. I'm not advocating for it, but it definitely helped me, and I absolutely, and glad I did that.
Yeah, for real. I'm the same. Like, it sounds really stupid, but I feel like I was guided to it. Like, I couldn't. When after my dad had passed and stuff, I knew that I had to do some kind of hallucinogenic. I was thinking like I need to go to like fucking Peru and do ayahuasca. Yeah. Like, I don't have the money for that, so I was like, well, what can I do? Well, I can make DMT.
Only with Graham Hancock.
But, so I just thought, fuck it, I could do it at home. I'll do my own ayahuasca ceremonies. I'm sure that's safe. I'm sure nothing could go wrong. But no,
I did have a little bit of peyote once, but that was interesting.
I'd love to do a proper ceremony because it's supposed to be way different. Because with DMT, it's actually like a little vape, like basically like that. You breathe it in and then you lose your fucking shit for like 5 minutes. Like, you don't know what your arms are anymore for like 5 minutes, and then that yeah.
I would definitely enjoy it. That there's the hallucinogenics are definitely a good tool.
I say something that should be respected, really respected. So like,
this thing is packed full of amethyst. I don't know if you could see that too good.
Oh yeah, it was cutting out. That looks cool.
I don't know. Just I thought it was pretty. It's not the most strongest organite I've made better organite, but I don't know. It was pretty.
It's in a pyramid shape. I will buy it.
Yeah, that they're I haven't ever made the pyramid ones, but I used to make a bunch of them. I had a big, huge notebook with formulas in it, and I let somebody borrow it one time and never got it back. I wish I still had that because you can't get it anymore. I got it offline, but you can't get it offline anymore. But
where's Bernie anyway? Is he just watching us?
Yeah, he lurks. He's all good. He'll come and go. That's Bernie. He's like a bouncy ball.
Your guys then.
Speak of the devil.
He appears.
Exactly. Just listening to what you guys were saying, and 100% with the psychedelics being a powerful tool into like a portal of another realm, but that it has to be respected, or you easily lose yourself, and that's where the psychosis comes in, and the addiction and stuff, people chasing it and not respecting what it actually is.
Yeah, and do it with friends too. Helps.
100%, yes. Solo journeys is when you're starting to have an issue.
Yeah, it's definitely something you want to do with a friend, no doubt. Let's see. I'm checking this out. Let's see.
Yes, definitely.
I've got some pictures I'll show you. You wanted to know more about Vanilla Skies, and I've got a whole folder of Vanilla Sky images that I have not shared yet. So why not share them here, and you can get your feet wet in that. Let me see. Present here. And okay, these are I've got a whole folder here that when we did the old world research group, the video with Campbell, we did not show any of these. These are all new. This is the Hotel Utah in 1911 with painted cars and painted statue here. What they do here in this instance is they take a picture of the building, and then this one they painted the entire thing over it.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
So this is a painting of a picture.
Does that building still stand today? Do you know?
I believe it does. I believe it is.
There's like an identical looking building in downtown Calgary called like the Fairmont Hotel, I believe.
Really?
It's like the old CN hotel. Yeah.
This one you've got scratched out people down here on the bottom. There's pavement light right there.
Right. Yeah. So here you go. Right. I like this because if someone was to say they've done it because people are like faded because of the shot.
Right, yeah.
Looks just as bad with the scratched out. You'd probably be better off leaving faded people in, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I don't know why would you scratch these people out?
Just erasing people.
What is
You
the
don't
point?
exist. You don't
Like,
exist.
the official story is going to be like that person down there. They'll be blurred out, and they've scratched it to make it look like nicer. Do you know what I mean? That'll be what the official people say.
Like,
But
here's one right here. This is a blurred person.
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
This right here on the left-hand side has two little pieces of metal sticking out here that have been scratched off, and that is a phone pole stair in that side.
Is that because they've not been invented yet or something?
I don't know. I mean, it's just I thought maybe they were just trying to make it clean.
Rail car.
This is Vanilla
These are
Sky.
cool.
And you can tell the Vanilla Sky. Look here in the right here inside here, you can see where they didn't finish it out.
But you know what? If you look in that thing again, look in that lamp, the back doesn't really look like it matches. Like what's is in the object behind it. Look at the object that you're seeing is behind. It doesn't really match the object.
Right,
That's
the line of the roof right here.
Yeah, no, it doesn't match. Look, that's almost like there was something else behind it. They've added that in. That's so weird.
Yeah, that's that, and that's the kind of things that you can look for. Is look into things in between, and a lot of times it'll present itself.
Yeah, like what is that on if you go back, sorry, on the roof stack, like the double U, like what are those?
There's some kind of ventilation.
I see what it is there, sorry.
If I had to take a guess,
strange.
what I would say is that this right here is an old wind catcher, and that they added wood stoves and piped them, and then these are separate pipes, so they had 4 different wood stoves in here. But that's just a guess.
And then the clock.
Let's see. I got each. Okay, this one, if you look right here, you can see where it was Vanilla Sky. You can see the kind of the remnants around the edges. It's kind of hard to tell on this one. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to kind of go through them quick. I got a bunch. This one, they added paint to the top of the building here to highlight it, and they Vanilla Skyed it.
David Ewing Jr., who I was talking to today, he was saying about World's Fairs that they had just taken like tabletop models and taken pictures of them and then added in things from the background and stuff. Like, do you think that's possible? Do you think that that could be cut out from a different place?
Yeah, well, possible, yes. Now proving that would be difficult, maybe, but possibly it could be done. Yeah, I mean, if you know anything about darkroom technique, then it's possible. Now, here's a really interesting one. This one is a picture that has been Vanilla Skyed, but they put a black matte background behind it. And so you can still see where they didn't Vanilla Sky in between.
They look fucking shy. Why would they do that?
They just, what they did was it's a glass plate negative, okay? And what you see the picture wise is on the negative, and then this area has been Vanilla Skyed where they scratched it off, and then they put a black mat behind it, and it makes it look like crap.
Conspiracy right now, zoom out, I'd say that the front bit looks like it's like a separate image from the building behind.
Right. Let's see. I haven't looked at this.
Very interesting stuff.
Could do composite images back then.
I'm not sure. This one's been Vanilla Sky, but I can't exactly see it too good.
They're just unblocking all the old railways after the reset.
So you can see it right here in between the chain and the poles right there.
Yeah, it seems very foggy for like what is left.
You can see in between the lamp here. There's this haze around it. I don't know if you can see that or not. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
how okay.
But
It's I don't know how it transfers to you guys when I'm looking at this. Like around here, you can see that haze on the building and on that pole.
oh, if you say haze another time, we're gonna have to roll a split.
Now here's an interesting one right here
That guy.
is where they did not vanilla sky it. So this is what it would have actually looked like. And then they vanilla skied everything else.
Does the conductor look like number 2 from Austin Powers?
Number
I think these are from Sydney, if I'm
No
not
wires on those poles again.
Yeah, wait, zoom in on that pole. It looks like wires have been cut out in a weird way.
Well, I would imagine that they've just vanilla skied them out. They just cut them out as they vanilla skied it. Because it'd be very difficult to vanilla sky the wire without screwing it up.
It's just so weird.
Can y'all see that haze that's around everything?
Yeah, I
Okay.
definitely.
You
Now,
said
I'm
it.
not sure exactly how that haze remains. So I can't answer like why they didn't get rid of all of that, unless they just like were kind of sketching it. Like maybe they were taking the razor and like chipping at it a little bit here and there, and they didn't like try to do it perfect so it kind of blends in better. I don't know.
That makes sense.
There's a funicular.
Oh, this one just looks awesome. Like we need to just admire how cool that looks. I want to go on that.
These things are amazing, these funiculars.
They really are.
Like there was a huge one, I think. Was it Chicago or San Francisco? One of the two. I think it was San Francisco.
Maybe both.
Maybe both. But yeah, there's a huge stone one in San Francisco that just looks like old world.
Now, the one in Los Angeles, they actually moved it. There's also one in London, England, somewhere that's really interesting, and they turned it into a movie theater. I don't know if you've heard of that.
No, but you know that last picture, the building design just looks really like my local town, but like the old buildings.
Now, I don't know what they were trying to accomplish with this vanilla sky thing. It's very strange that you would go through the trouble to do this.
Look at the brickwork on that roof. Is that normal the way that they've done that indent, or is that an old roof?
Right here, the design right here.
Yeah, is that
yeah, it's like a facading over the old style to the new.
Yeah, for real. That looks way like that.
Well, it's like looking at the building. I call it overkill. Like, why would you go through the effort of doing that?
And there's like 3D depth being edited out and stuff.
That's a porthole right there. So that's part of a wind catcher. I mean, that doesn't even look right. You know,
right? Like
you can see where
I've
they
got questions.
You see in between that chain how obvious it is. You see the line here, and then it ends, and then it starts back.
100%.
That's the kind of stuff you need to look for. And see, they did not vanilla sky through the window. Okay, because you could still see the window glass. But then over here, they did. You see the difference?
So weird.
I'll be 2 secs. I'm just rolling. He said haze too much.
And the best way to find it is to look at when you see a picture like this, you start looking in between the hard. You look at the hardest places to vanilla sky, and that's when you're going to find the issues, and that's when it's going to become obvious. Now, somebody spent a lot of time on this, just taking
out each one. Like,
that's crazy.
Just why? And so strange.
It's got to be a lot of work.
Do you reckon it's to edit all the airships?
See, there's your line right there. It's been cut off.
Yeah, so yeah, good point. So there are some that do have wires, but barely any compared to the amount of poles.
Oh, this is a good one. This is one they did not do a good job on. And it's very obvious. There's a porthole. There's a clock with looks like 4 ones or Mandela effect. Sometimes they really don't spend the time on it, and you get something like this. And see, they didn't Vanilla Sky in between the post there. So it's very, very obvious what they've done in that image. See, there's a ghost person right there.
Ghost people.
Another one. And that's when they move too fast. If they didn't stick still. This is really interesting. They've painted this thing. Look, they've painted the wood here and then added paint here. I don't know what that's about. Looks like they might have done something there. I'm not sure. It's very weird stuff. And it's very subtle how they do. Here's another one where they scratched out people in the street. Why? I mean, you've got people that are blurred here and here. Why these people? What are those people? What have they done to get taken out of the photograph? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
It's very, very strange. Yeah, weird, odd. Like, why put so much time into certain like aspects of erasing and work of it and covering stuff up and not others, and always the skies? Like, why were they taking out the skyline every time?
Right. It just doesn't add up. Here, this is like a I don't know what you'd call this. It was a picture, and then they made a print of it or something, and then they Vanilla Sky
electricity building.
Yeah, I see that quite a lot. Electricity building. I ran across one of those yesterday, and I wondered what was in that building.
It looks awfully World's Fairly for an electricity building.
What the fuck? That looks just like the Chicago World's Fair building.
I bet it is.
This is the Louisiana Purchase in 1904.
Right. When was the World's Fair? It was in the late 1800s, wasn't it?
1803 was Chicago's.
Yeah, so before then.
The thing is, it's amazing about the Chicago World Fair, right?
So that's what turned into the electricity building.
See, they've got these people, and they've done something here on this one.
What buildings at the Chicago World Fair? I think it would be industrial art and industry or something like that. But if it was still standing today, it would be the second biggest building in the world, only behind the Boeing factory. So just consider, not only did they, at the time, it was the biggest in the world. Not only did they build the biggest building in the world, but they fucking took it down again.
Wow.
Like, why?
We're building the biggest building in the world temporarily only.
That's crazy.
But they'll tell you it's because it was made out of plaster and stuff, but then right next to it's a real stone building. Like, oh yeah, that one's real, but none of the others were.
And then at the same time, you hear all the stories of like the Spanish and then the Americans and everyone pillaging the original like pyramids and ancient sites of their gold, their metals, and their stone.
Right.
And taking them apart to build new stuff. Like, it's just repurposed, rebuilt.
You actually
see that right there? You can see the background. They've just cut the background right here in a line.
Yep, you can see it. It looks like a wall or something behind there.
Yeah, they definitely. I mean, it's stuff like that you look. If you look at this on just look at that, glance at that, you don't think much about it. But then if you really look at it and take a real hard look at it, you go, wait a minute, that's just all fucked up. There's no rhyme or reason to that. That's a crazy one. That's really wild looking.
It looks pretty modern.
Big old magnets on it or something up front.
Well, what they would do, Luke, is they would take an old train and then they would put on this cover.
Oh yeah,
to make it modernized.
That's cool.
Sorry, there's so many train ones, but
sorry, man. I love trains.
It is what it is. I think Frankie was in here earlier. He likes Frankie New West Reset. He likes trains.
Shout out Frankie, fellow Calgarian Targaryen.
Oh, you see right there, they didn't do a good job on the edge. You see all that jagginess right there?
Yeah, like what is that even?
What is the point of that? I don't know.
When you've got the apprentice on the job.
It's very, very weird. It doesn't make any sense why they. But I can't say why they did it. But what I'm trying to stress is that they did do it.
You're not allowed to see what's on the other side of the track.
I mean, maybe these were for some kind of publicity, propaganda. Who knows? But I can't say why they did this. But if we know that they can do this, it leads us to need to know that we need to watch out for it, because it's possible that they're using it other places. Here's a bad one. You can see where they really didn't do a good job. You can see they cut the ground right here and they jagged it right there and there and there. They didn't do a good job there or there or there. Okay. They cut something off there and then jagged it right there. I mean, it's so obvious when you look at it. Crazy. This one they opened up right through the other side.
I think, obviously, it doesn't imply nefarious reasons, but as you said,
no,
can do it.
No, it's I'm not saying, this look is proof of conspiracy. No, it's not proof of conspiracy.
No, that's that behind all these trains is like a fucking evil devil laughing giant that's going to expose everything. It's just
that jaggy right there. That's just, they didn't do a good job of it.
As well, because people don't realize about Photoshop. This is why I hate the word Photoshop as well. Because I remember one dickhead literally said, "What, you think they had Photoshop back then?" It's like, well, no, they didn't literally have Adobe Photoshop.
Right.
Photo editing. So
they had photo stencil shop in the shop.
This guy staring at Adobe Photoshop made in 2001. That doesn't make sense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
not what we're talking about. It's people don't have the imaginations of a turkey, I guess. I don't know.
And as well, people
right there.
Technology, military technology, is at least 30 years ahead of normal technology. This is a well-known fact that so much technology, they tell you radar was made because of military, right? So do you not think that photographs would have been at the head of military technology, bearing in mind that during World War I, they would actually, in the trenches, they would send an artist over the trenches to draw the German fucking positions. So that's how important photography was to military, that they would send fucking artists into no man's land to draw the positions of the Germans. So you've got to understand that whilst we're seeing all this civilian supposed technology, the military technology was way ahead. They would have been able to Photoshop this shit way better than you can even believe.
Well, a lot of them seem like they have military stamps on them too. I guess not this collection, but a lot of times you see the ones published in books and stuff. It's the older you go, there's always
there's a ground line right there.
Well, it's at the, which one have I just done? the Centennial Exposition, wherever that was, one of the World's Fairs they employed one photography company, which was just two blokes. One of them died very shortly after as well. Very convenient.
Right.
But it
Yeah.
was two dudes, and they had the sole photography rights to the entire Centennial Exposition.
Right. And then if you took a picture, you were fined a very heavy fine. If you wanted to take your own personal pictures, you had to pay a very, very large fee to take one picture.
Well, the
thousands of dollars.
Clearly got the control, because I mean, imagine how long
that line right there.
Blokes to go around taking photos of all that stuff. The only reason you'd keep it down to two blokes is because maybe the technology is like secret, or maybe it's more advanced. You know what I mean? If those cameras are really good.
And they want to keep the perspective in their, they want to control that narrative. If you're taking the photographs, you can control that narrative of how people see what you're seeing.
And another point to make is, do you remember when Trump released like pictures of that Iranian base from satellite images? Everyone was angry because they were saying you've let the enemy know how good our satellite images are. That is a perfect example of what would have been happening at this point. They would have been making their photos look really bad because they don't want the enemy to know that they can just fucking run up and take photos. Good.
Right. See, they didn't do a good job right there. They just
I guess you can see almost looks like foliage, I guess.
Well, it's whatever's behind there. They just got lazy right here. And it's sometimes you can actually make out what it is. There's another nugget of crumb.
A nugget of crumb.
It's crazy.
History's crumb.
And you can see the background right here. The line, it's just the ground just stops. And then goes to vanilla sky. Let's see.
It's really strange. The more you look, the more you see of it, it's weird.
It is freaky, isn't it?
And there's so many of them. I'm getting better at finding them now. I can actually spot them. The problem is that when you go through these digital archives, that they're very difficult to go through. See, they didn't do in between here. And so you've got these little tiny images that you're looking at to decide if you want to look at the image. And then you have to open up the image, and then you have to wait for it to load up. And then if you decide you want it, you've got to download it, and then you got to go into it. And then a lot of times you can't even tell if it's anything interesting until you actually open it up. It's a real pain in the ass. But by doing this, I've gotten better at finding these and spotting them in the little pictures. So that's why I'm finding more and more.
Oh, Bernie's got.
Yeah, sorry guys. I have to take off, drive the wife to see her dad, and then home. So if you're still going a little bit, I'll join in. If not, have a good rest of the stream.
Oh, I sure appreciate you hanging out with us.
For sure.
See you boys soon. See you soon.
What's up, hippie?
Definitely. One love.
See ya. I don't know what the heck. Experimental refrigerator van. Weird. Okay.
I think Jake needs a shout out because I've seen them like every single video I've ever streamed on.
Who's that?
Hippie Shake.
Oh yeah, Hippie. She's the best moderator. She's definitely on top of moderation. Yeah, the Hippie Shake. I hadn't even looked at the chat. I've been paying. Oh, you can see real clearly here where they didn't finish it.
I tell you what, I'm gonna send you a nice little book to enjoy. It's where is it from now? Philadelphia. That's it. It's Philadelphia photos. You might enjoy it.
Philadelphia, is that pictures of the city or pictures of like a World's Fair?
Of the city.
That's amazing city. Yeah,
I can't remember when the photos are from, but they're very old. They're from a similar time period to, I'd say about 1890s maybe. So
look right there, they cut the train out. You see that? They clipped it.
Oh yeah. In fact, you know what? One sec. I could send you the link in the chat.
Oh wow, look at that. They just jagged that one right on up. See, sometimes you catch them. It's like they're in the middle of the process or something. Oh, here's a real good one. Wow. That
Wow,
is
really
crazy.
haven't they? I'm gonna find you this link. Don't worry. Still there.
There's another one. City of London.
Huh. Wow. That looks more like modern than the trains they've got today, to be honest.
That thing's crazy looking. This was a fad, I think, in the 20s. I'm not sure. Frankie might know about this. Oh wow, you can actually see the right behind it. I don't know if you can tell what that is, but you can actually see building or something. I don't know. This is so crazy.
I'll be with you in a sec. Just getting this link to this thing.
This looks like they were like maybe it was a broken like the chip or it started chipping off. I'm not sure if that one's actually being Vanilla Sky, but it's actually how they do it.
Oh, you know what? I do have the a Centennial Edition archive if you want that, which is pretty cool.
Man, there was I'm gonna blast through these because they're let you see them, and then y'all can go back and look at them. It drives people crazy. I go so fast, but
You see, that's what I don't do with my channel. I play some nice, relaxing music, and I just slowly through the photos.
well, so sometimes I go slower, but it's like when tonight, we're not gonna go for a whole long time, and so I'm just gonna blast through this, just so that you actually get to see the new stuff that I haven't even, this none of this was in the video where I went through every one of them and drove everybody crazy. That was fun. They were screaming for mercy by the time I got done with that. I told Kim, I said, just let me loose. I'll prove this, no problem. He had no idea because nobody knew what I had. Nobody. Okay, this one they've done some manipulation to it, but you can't see it in that resolution. And I've later on got pictures that show it closer up. This is something I think that Levy was showing, where he was talking about it was photo manipulation. So that like this one, he was saying the guy is like halfway in the picture there, and I'm not real sure exactly what's going on with this one, but this is something he wrote on there. I think it was Levy. Anyways, this is that picture. They added paint here in the background. Why, I don't know. They added on that guy's leg right there. And I'm sure it's just to make the picture look better, but that don't explain it. They've added lines to the floor. Here's a weird one.
Oh, fucking. So that is where they've clicked, said this is where we're supposed to do the stuff, but we forgot. Well, I'll tell you what's interesting about that. Go up to the top.
Okay, I got an image where it goes here.
Yo, can you hear me?
Like that?
Just even higher where the red.
Oh, wait a minute. I got to go back. It cuts it off.
Right, okay. Yeah. So right where that red is, that is almost like they're telling you where the building needs to go on this image.
I think that's a mark where they say we want to cut the picture off at that point. A photographic, because they do that. Like here's another one. Like stop the image here. Like, okay, going back to this one, you can see they've outlined what they want to leave in the picture.
Right.
And they took all this out for whatever reason. But this is the shot they wanted. And so they cropped it. It's old world, it's old photoshopping, but it's done with pens and paper and knives and paint.
Well, look, if you look at the background building there, like that, those just look like they've been added in.
That one looks kind of sketchy right there.
Look,
Now,
look.
I have pictures where they have actually added buildings in.
Oh, well, no, they have 100% seen it before with the composite images, 3 images in behind to make it look like a whole area with different buildings, which is freaky.
Right. This is a Civil War photo. So, I mean, this, we've already found Civil War manipulation.
Why would you do that?
What is the point of that?
Especially like that as well. That's really weird around the left.
I think this is where they were going to crop the photo to make it kind of look like more like that.
Do that. Why haven't they done that?
But, well, I think I don't know. I really can't answer. I don't know. I showed this one on my show last week where I have these 2 guys they're not there. This is what and this is painted in the background. Scratched it out there. Oh, and this was right here is 2 photos. This building is a overlaid photo onto another photo. You can see the line right here.
Yeah, there you go then. Exactly. They're doing that. So if they did that in those last images, that means like that whole city might not even be real.
Right. And once this is in the process of whatever they're doing. So then they could take an image of this and make another image which looks even realer. But I'll even one up you. If they make a postcard out of this and they paint the postcard, you'll never know.
Yo, yeah. Shit, I've seen that. Yeah. They add in all the nice sky and everything. I have no clue.
Right.
What the
fuck? This is, you can see the vanilla sky right here on her head.
Who is that?
Does
it say on the
Diana, maybe? I'm not sure. Columbia? I don't know who. Somebody's gonna know. Somebody in the chat tell me who that is. It's on the US Capitol. I forget who she is. I don't know. There's a fasciste right there. Oh, can't see the. Okay, that's the end of them.
Yeah, well, I've sent you a nice link.
Sorry. Okay, let's see.
That's got some interesting stuff.
Sorry that takes so long to get through.
That was a good, man. I enjoyed it.
It's now that's all new. That's none of that I've showed. Well, I mean, I've showed a few here and there in my show, but like on the last time I did the okay, let's see.
So if you go on that link and there should be like a little blue book and you click that or something.
There we go. Library Company of Philadelphia. Centennial, which let's see, what digital library is it? Library, okay. I think I have this one already, but I'll go ahead and save it again just to be sure. I have so many digital library links, it's unreal. Let's see, can I, yeah. Okay, Centennial Expedition 1876. Let me see if I can make it bigger. How's that look?
Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, so some of the really old photos, but I mean that looks like
those are really cool. I think these fountains are important.
You can see in that middle photo they've definitely added that sky in.
Yeah. It's like they vanilla skied the one on the right and the left, but not the middle one. That's amazing.
Yeah, innit? This album, I did a whole video on it, like a whole hour long, going through it slowly.
I've seen quite a few of these, but in a different context, maybe individually or something.
Yeah, I think that all the ones, unfortunately, they're just little cutouts of these photos, so there's no difference to just seeing them.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me play. Let me see. Okay, I'll do that in a minute. We'll see if we can find some high res of this. It seems like I've seen high res of this before.
I'm not sure. I think these are the highest quality because they're in that book, and that book's the like.
No, well,
I'm not
no. I've definitely. I remember that picture right there.
possibly then, but I mean, they are quite quality. So if you zoom in even more, I think they are still decent. I'm not sure. I might be lying.
It's a little better. I have to move it around, but I can see a little bit more. Oh. That's amazing right there. Whatever that is. New York State Building. Jeez.
And these are all just temporary buildings.
You know, it makes me wonder. One of the things I've noticed I'm doing research on one city, Raleigh, North Carolina, and they disappeared a lot of the mansions. There were hundreds of mansions that just disappeared.
Interesting.
And I don't know where most of them went. I don't even have pictures of most of them. I just I'll have like histories of the mansions, and then I'll have overhead like aerial shots, and it'll show mansions, but then when you go to look for them, they're gone.
Really?
Yeah, and they moved a lot of them around, but where did most
by the
of them
way,
go? I don't know.
really tall flags go up. There's one there that it's kind of blurred out a bit. Keep going up.
Go up.
Yeah, keep going up. Keep going. There, that building there. You see how that's in the middle one has got a really faint outline of a giant spire on it.
Right there.
Yeah,
in the middle?
All got these
Well,
absolutely.
there's one there too.
Yeah, massive flagpoles that are just so unnecessary. The size of the building, they're literally like double the height of the building themselves.
That's so weird. Look at those. Those are huge.
Well, it's very strange because they're very selective on when their cameras pick up the flags and when the flags are moving too quick.
That's cool. That's a crazy fountain right there. I think the fountains were some sort of technology.
You think as well, that's got lamps in it, so still would have had to turn that off. But obviously, if it's not electric, you'd have to go and turn that off and then light all the lamps, get the water again. That's quite nuts.
Gazebo.
Look at those guns, man.
Those things are crazy. I wish I could understand what those are.
They're for shooting giants. I'm not actually joking. There's a cartoon called Attack on Titan, which is all about titans and giants and stuff. And those guns are what they use to kill these fucking titans. So it's quite funny.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you do wonder how media is just like the truth being secretly shown to you.
I remember I saw the other day you were talking about how you like giants. In the research group. I'm sure, I don't know if you have, but have you seen my video on giants?
No. Honestly, I've got so many videos to watch, so please don't take it offensively that I have.
Oh no, it's called Little People's Giants World. And it's my highest video. And it actually ran on Michelle Gibson's channel for a long time. And it was all the views were going to her, so she took it down so I could get more views. But that video's had over 100,000 views.
Oh, nice.
And so between my channel and her channel, but it's actually pretty cool. What I did was I just collected all the images of giants that I could find, and then added all these crazy things to do with giants in there. And I just kind of wanted to look at how our world would look if we had giants in it. And that's kind of the premise of the video. I think I've seen high res of these. I really do. Matter of fact, hold on.
Yeah, I found a link.
Let me
But yeah, I found a link to this double-headed giant that apparently twin-headed.
Let's see.
Or something. I'll have to give you the link.
A twin-headed giant.
Yeah. I can't remember much about it, but it was on some website. I've saved the link in my Discord, so I'll put WhatsApp that in a bit.
Okay, I'm gonna try and find high res of these and see if we can find it. It seems like I've seen that before somewhere. What was the year of that thing? 1876. Okay. I'm looking it up in the Library of Congress and see if. Okay. Okay. It came up with a bunch. Okay. Let me share what I found and see if we can see these any better. Okay, you see that?
Oh yeah. There's a couple.
Okay, that's a crazy looking picture right there, but you can only look at it online. Let me see if I can find actual pictures. Well, okay, we got this.
Unless it's a drawing, really.
And it's gonna. Okay, I can get that in higher resolution than we're looking at here. And that one is a drawing.
I mean, if you found it within 5 minutes, I would have been pretty upset because I did quite a bit of research to find that album. So.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how to get out of it. Oh, exit full screen. Okay. Let's see. We're looking for real images. Here we go. Okay, not letting us look at it. That's interesting. Okay, now that right there, you can go to the Library of Congress and see that image.
Yep.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, because they haven't taken photos of them close up, you know. That's why the Philadelphia place was good, because obviously it happened in Philadelphia, so they actually give a shit about it.
Can't see that one online.
I think they'll probably all be.
Oh, that's a construction photo, but you can't see it on. Dang.
Yep, you just got to deal with that tiny little thumbnail.
If that's no good, I mean, they're just saying, ha, 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 screw you.
Yeah, literally. Come see it in the Smithsonian.
Damn.
Locked underground with all the secrets.
And they've got these crazy pictures that are
that one's available, but that's just basically the same. See what I mean about it? It's the same image, but double-sided that you'll find in that book that we had. It's exactly the same.
But it's higher res.
I suppose, yeah, it's a little bit higher res. But
well, I can get it higher res than that.
Well, I was going to say, you can actually get the individual high-res images on the Library of Philadelphia. It's just in a different section, but it'll take a while to find it anyway.
Gosh, I wish they'd. Unbelievable! They've got these images on there, and they won't let you see them. It's so stupid.
Illuminati strikes again.
Yeah, wonderful people. That's aggravating. I mean, there's all these wonderful pictures, and they're not even going to let you even taste them. I can't even look at the low res. All I got is a thumbnail.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's grim, isn't it?
Did you look in this digital archive at all?
The Library of Congress? No.
Yeah.
No, I've never actually looked at it. I mean, I will do. But like you said earlier, I tend to avoid things where I have to go through click, open, just to find out that they're all small images. So I do try my best to find entire archives.
Well, now here's how I do it. Is I'll go and do this, what I'm doing here, and then I will download the high resolution, and then I will do a show looking at the high resolution.
Yeah, I usually do the same thing. I find that it takes so much of my time up. That,
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So when I want videos,
There's a construction photo.
Yeah, look at that.
That's cool.
Notice they've got the big.
And you can get it even higher res right here, TIFF. You can, but you have to download it.
I
think you do.
Well, definitely use the Library of Congress. I didn't even know that was a thing, because being British, we don't make people like that.
You don't make what?
We don't make things people like that. We don't have a British archive, unfortunately. You have to go to your local library and ask them for the photos.
Seems like I thought I found some sort of British archive once.
There's a couple of them, but as in there's not like not a British funded library where every piece of available imagery is stored for you, kind of catalog.
Have you looked at your college digital libraries?
Well, our university one really quite difficult with stuff like that. I mean, there's a few. Even my local Stockport though is like terrible, because what they'll do is they'll give you an itinerary of photographs that they've got, but they're just descriptions of the photographs they've got. So you know what I mean? You've just got an itinerary, and they're like, "Which photo do you want to see?" And you're like, "I don't know. I can't see which one." You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, you're just literally given a list of names, so you'd have like know-ish what you want. You know what street you want or what building you want or something, and look with a name, and then ask for that picture, and give you the picture in person, and then you can say yes or no. That's the right one. Look at that. Fuck.
What is that? I don't even know what I'm looking at. Oh, this must be like a leftover building.
Is that from the event? Is that wow?
It says Smithsonian
Arts and Industries.
Yeah, District of Columbia. What does that got to do with? That's odd. That's not for what we're looking at, is it?
It looks similar to one of the buildings.
You don't think they moved it, do you?
They say that a lot, but surely, is moving a whole building that easy compared to just building it again?
I mean, yeah, some of the stuff they've moved is pretty impressive. Man, this is cool. I mean, I'm gonna save this because I might have to come back here and look at this.
Yeah, it's a lot of interesting stuff when you go down these rabbit holes.
There's a black and white.
Do another World's Fair. I do need to do one, but
how many have you done?
I've only done about 4. I think I've done 2 French ones, an American one, Austrian one, 5 this year. So I've done 5 so far. And I just did from the beginning. So the London one was in 1851. That was the first. Then after that, I did Paris. Then after
What's interesting? They were talking about how all these buildings don't have mudflood windows, and there's mudflood windows on that one right there.
Fucking hell, yeah, good spot. Actually, that is a very good spot.
So I mean, I'm not saying that they all do, but I mean,
yeah. Why would you do that? It's just really stupid, and I think that they built half a window into the ground when you don't need to.
National Museum, 18 1879. Is that?
Hmm.
It's kind of hard to see, but I've never seen whatever this is. I don't know what I'm looking at, but I don't know what this has to do with why they put me on these pictures when I was looking at the others, but
What does it say at the thing? View the rotunda from Southwest Smithsonian. That is interesting.
I don't know what it's got to do with
It might be from the event,
others.
but I mean, they are very good photos.
I mean, they're modern. What the hell is that?
That looks like it was built for Lego. You're supposed to smash that, and then there'll be a switch behind it.
That is just strange. Okay, that's the end of those. I don't know. Let me let's see. I wanted to did Bernie come back?
Yeah, gonna ask, is it alright if I send Shem the link to join in with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You remember I was telling you about that world, gosh, I'm trying to find the link. Telling you about that World's Fair that I found last night where okay, it's called the Cotton States International Exhibition. And I'm gonna share it with you. Okay, sorry, I'm getting my act together there. Okay, this was in Atlanta, Cotton States International Exhibition. It was in 1895 in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, I'll have to check that. So this is an example of like one of the ones that probably won't appear on the list.
Maybe it was a smaller one, but I mean, that's impressive, nonetheless.
Look at that balloon as well, yo.
Yeah, and it's got this map. Wait a minute, I think I can get higher res. Yeah.
Put on that balloon for me.
Oh, okay, that's as far as it's letting me go in right there.
Motherfuckers.
They supposedly built this lake in order to do this. Here's a map of now this is interesting. This is what's called a Sanborn map. And see, Negro building. This is a Sanborn map is a fire map made by a company that made maps for cities of fires, for the buildings. And so their maps are really, really good. So if that's in America. I don't know if they have anything like that in your country, but it's very helpful.
I mean, we're not entirely backward. We must have something similar.
I don't, I've never seen a Sanborn map in your country, but it might just be called something different. But that thing right there is impressive as hell.
Then again, you've heard about the Great Fire of London. We aren't very fire safe.
That's supposedly a famous. Now this is an overhead today of the area where this took place, and these are the lakes that they cut out in order to do this, and there's nothing left. And except I did find one little building right here, and I don't know what it is because I can't find it on the map. But then when you drop down into it, it's got some kind of telltale signs of old world.
Yeah, red brick.
So I'm not sure what the deal is with this because it's not on the map. I really looked for this last night, like where is this damn building at? And I could line it up on the map, but it's not there. So it's almost like they moved this building here. It's got one of the sides, it's got right here, it's got arched windows. So I mean, I don't know. It's just really weird that they've got this. They had this exhibition, and then there's nothing left, and I've never heard of it. So it's like, what the hell's going on?
I know, it's absolutely insane what they do with these places, isn't it?
That's crazy. I don't understand that. They did the same thing in Raleigh, North Carolina. They had a an exhibition at what they called the fairgrounds. They had the exhibition, then tore that down, and then moved the fairgrounds completely across town and built a new one.
Fucking
Why?
ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. Like you say, why? Because as well, in those days, you'd think it'd be more like resources are harder to come by, they're harder to deliver, logistics are harder, etc. Everything's more difficult. So why would you waste all this time moving things about? Do you know what I mean? Like, even in fact, today, if you were to say to someone, "We're having an event, we're going to build a whole complex," they'd be like, "That's not cost effective. Go use the hotel corner." You know? Imagine, and this is what they're trying to say. You know, 1 minute they're like, "Oh, we've had fun at the event. Let's take the buildings down and move them across the city." Just why?
Why would you build these buildings and then tear them down when you could take those same buildings and turn them into stores and restaurants and attractions of something and make some fucking revenue?
Oh, the tourism from them as well. Everyone would go there. Like, I mean, when I'm looking at Chicago World's Fair, I just want to go to it. You know, like
Yeah.
there's.
Like in Knoxville, Tennessee, there was a World's Fair. This is a modern World's Fair, but they built this place in order to, when they were done with it, that they could use the facilities as, you know, the city could use it for different events, and they have a restaurant in there and up in a big ball thing, and you know they still use it today. Why did they not do that back then? Did they just stupid?
You'll go to like the one I brought up before, Chicago World Fair, that would have had the second biggest building in the world, right? Behind the Boeing factory. So why is the Boeing factory been built that big? Well, because of capitalism. You need to build big ass fucking planes. But if there was a building that big existing already, why would a huge company not have moved in? Why would that, like you say, why would they have got rid of that? That is stupid, isn't it?
It makes no economical sense in a consumer-based society, in a
Sorry.
capitalist society.
We already told him that
dollars and cents.
Right, Bernie, if you're watching anywhere, if you are here with us now, you can send the link to Kem. Okay?
I don't know where he is.
I don't know. He just texted me and it's just popping up on my phone as I'm trying.
He texts you. Oh, I think he might have messaged me too.
Well, he jumped in the chat and we said yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, he's on there. I don't know what he's doing. He's a weirdo. What are you doing, Bernie?
Watch.
I tell you what. Let's take a quick break, and I need to put wood on the fire, and we'll come right back, and we'll see what else we can get into. And you know, whatever you want to talk about, lead the charge.
Yeah, no worries, man.
So let me find something to throw on here real quick. Bear with me. I'm all discombobulated today. Let's see what can. Well, here's some.
Actually, 2:15, so I might call it the end for tonight, but we'll do this again if you want.
Yeah. We can do that.
Yeah, sorry about that, man.
Yeah. That's okay. Yeah.
But I had fun. I'd love to do it again.
No problem. We will definitely do it again. And let's see, get my thing ready here. Hold on. Let's see. I don't know what I thought. Bernie was sitting there. Okay. We'll do it some other time.
If you hang around,
my work is funky, so
might get to meet him finally if you hang around.
I don't know where he is. I don't know what happened to him.
Well,
we'll do it again. We're in the group chat and everything, so we can coordinate these things pretty quickly. So
yeah, man.
I really appreciate Ancient Historia, Luke, joining us tonight, and everybody go like and subscribe his channel, and he's got Patreon set up, and I believe a few other fund me things, buy me a coffee maybe. And go support his work. He's new to this, and he's trying to get started. He needs gear. So you know, please support what he's trying to do, because we're few and far between, and he's definitely got the chops to do this, and we need more people doing this. So thank you, Luke, for joining me tonight, and we will see you soon.
Thank you. That's it, guys.
Good night.
Say woof again! Say woof again!
I've got one that can see.
It's a mystery! It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma! Don't you get it?
Welcome to the underground.
This is my kung fu, and it is strong.
See you later.